Hello and welcome, everyone. You know the name of the event. So, about the European Digital Innovation Hubs. Basically, you know that this is the new initiative from the Commission coming, or it's the extension of the Digital Innovation Hubs initiative, which was done many years ago to take it to the next level. So, the conference is about that. And in this conference, we thought that one of the main reason why the concept of digital innovation hub exists, or the very purpose, is to really take European SMEs to the small, medium-sized companies, maybe other businesses also, but the big companies, as we know that they have their own plans and they have access to everything internationally. But the small, medium-sized companies located in different regions of Europe, they should have the access to all the advanced technologies. And there are regions, of course, there are regions in Europe where there is no problem. There are very advanced RTOs, which are funded by the government, and these RTOs are supporting the SMEs. But there are regions in Europe where the SMEs are basically on their own and they are looking for support. And I think there the value and the role of the Digital Innovation Hub is of paramount importance. So this is what we more or less going to talk in this session. My name is Ali Muhammad. I'm from VTT. I'm a senior scientist and principal investigator in robotics systems at the VTT National Research Center of Finland. Maybe I think many of us already know. If you're watching my face, I think you can see it in the background also. I'm coordinating several of the EU projects, so that's make it reasonable for me to be addressed this. And all these projects are actually about how to develop sustainable methodologies where advanced digital technologies developed at the European level, they may exist in one part of the Europe and we make them available in all the other parts of Europe. So these are the projects it's about. So I thought that there is some knowledge we have gathered over the last 2, 3, 4 years, and maybe this can be shared and discussed here today. So the background of this session, as I said, that we know that the SMEs, the small, medium-sized manufacturers, they make a very high percentage of the total businesses in Europe. There is their active involvement, getting to know that what is available and how they can be helped, what would be the next step they should take, is a very important part of the job what we are trying to do. So we should continuously explore ways how to increase this outreach and strengthen our message, make the message correct so they can know what we are actually trying to do. In this aspect, actually, digital innovation hubs are really expected to play the central role. And this becomes more important as we are going towards this Digital Europe program. So actually, this is now we are going further. As regional actors, Digital Innovation Hub are not only there in the main gateways for the SMEs, so they become like the evangelist for all the European technologies, but they also are a very key link for the European Commission to provide this feedback, what is really happening, what are the issues, what should be the part of the research agenda, back to the Commission, back to the Europe, to the central point. So our objective for the day is about sharing the identified barriers, the things we have found difficult, the things we all collectively think that and what have we done actually to try to make it better, what has been our best practices. The idea should be that we build a long-term trust and engage with SMEs for a very long-term relationship, to make sure that we can keep going to them and telling them that what should be the next step for them. So I will start there. There are certain topics we will discuss during this. So one of them, the discussion topics, there are 3 discussion topics. One of them is that how DIH can increase the reach out to the SMEs. How SMEs, what should be the strategy for a digital innovation hub to make sure that the European technologies, no matter where they are, become available to their local companies, local SMEs, and how to collect all this feedback and feed it back to the regional and to the European agenda. So we have 3 panelists today. So our first panelist is Heini Wallander. So she's a senior business advisor of the Regional Economic Development Agency, which is Business Tampere. So Tampere is a city where I am also from in Finland, is the industrial capital of Finland. And in her work, Heini focuses on the intelligent machines and automation sector companies, including their manufacturing. Heini has been a key person in orchestrating the Finnish Sustainable Industry X Manufacturing Digital Innovation Hub. So she has been actually running this Digital Innovation Hub at the local level. And now I think the idea is to also take that effort and that hub to the next level at the European level. My second panelist is Sabine Giron. So she's a senior researcher at the Irish Manufacturing Research Centre. What IMR, or Irish Manufacturing Research Centre, does is to demystify, de-risk, and deliver new technologies to the manufacturing and companies. As a local evangelist, so she is actually working as a local evangelist, where she's making sure to go to the companies door to door and disseminate what is need to be disseminated to them about the European technologies. And my last panelist today is Davor Ujlaki from Croatia. He's the director of an SME. Moraplast is one of the very big manufacturer of plastic and paper packaging materials. I think there is a good chance that if you are anywhere in Europe, there is a plastic or paper bag you have picked up which has been manufactured in that factory. So one of the key aspects for Davor that he participated in this European project L4MS for a very long time. I think this was very big advantage because we thought that we learned a lot about the SMEs, and then I think Davor also learned what can be done better. So this would be very useful because Davor is also the vice president of the regional Plastic and Rubber Industry Association, where there are over 500 manufacturing SMEs. You will have the chance to post your questions, and we will take them. If we see the question is can be answered right away, we can pick up the question right away, or there will be in the end there will be a question and answer session. So we can start with our first topic of the day, which is how DIHs can increase the reach out to SMEs in their region. I'm gonna go first with these questions to Sabine.
Yeah. So
Sabine, would you tell your experience that how you have increased this reach out to SMEs?
Yeah. So as thank you, Ali, for the introduction. So as Ali said, I'm a senior researcher in Irish Manufacturing Research. So we are a DIH for Ireland, the regional manufacturing DIH. We're participating in different EU-funded projects, and we really take our role as a link between the EU Commission and the SMEs really in a very important manner. So one of my roles as local evangelist is to reach out to the manufacturing SMEs so that they can access the technologies. So to do that, what we do, so We organize events. We have an open lab where people can come look at the pilot lines, at the different demonstrators, and can understand where the different technologies can apply. We also do info sessions where they can see all the different funding available for them. So either at the EU level or at the regional level. And one of the things that is quite important as well, and you mentioned it earlier, Alice, is really to build the trust with the SMEs. And we all know that the priorities of the SMEs are not the same as other size of companies. So it's really important for EDIH to actually go door to door, visit them, see what challenges they face, and try to use the different networks that the EDIH has. So, for example, at the EU level, for example, the DIH squared network, also the I4MS, or the other networks such as EFRA or the others, but also at national and regional levels to access and engage with those SMEs to then build a real relationship with them. So, of course, with the COVID pandemic, a lot of those things can't really happen for now. So there's a lot of efforts going on the digital platforms, trying to reach them out via webinars or one-to-one calls, and like really support sessions like that.
Okay, thanks, Sabine, actually. Davor, what do you think from a different perspective? Because Sabine is someone who is like the preacher. She goes to the companies and try to explain them that, okay, this is what we have. But you are the one who have to deal with people like Sabine. So what can you tell us that makes our life better?
Greetings from Croatia. Well, I would say with good references and good examples. Among SMEs, gossip spreads very fast. So if you've done something interesting, something that can be used as a business advantage on the market, SME will know. SME also follow the news. So if the hub must build up their reputation. I've looked for hubs in our region, and I was shocked that I have found that we have 14 hubs in Croatia. 12 of them I have never heard of before yesterday. One is very close where I live. I look at their web and I find they support entrepreneurs. They are the center of innovation. Very nice. They are the creativity incubator. Maybe for some startup, but not for a real SME. So, digital innovation hubs, please build up your image. I must do it on the market. You must do it also. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think what you're saying that having there are two things. First of all, there are so many, which may not be the bad thing because they may all be doing a bit different things, and maybe you can get, but they never you never heard of them. So marketing is very important. It's the first step they should take. Thanks, Davor. So Heini, you do this because you're the development, business development in the region, which is your responsibility, is really based on the fact that you have to really take consideration of the companies and help them. So how you have been doing it, and what do you think?
Yes, thank you, Ali. Very good points from colleagues. I cannot underestimate the value of footwork, as Sabine mentioned. One aspect to the footwork is also the network, like taking the best out of the network. Because, for example, we have what we do is basically we interview 500 companies per year for what they need. Well, of course, these are companies from different sectors, but one of our tasks is to guide them forward on their path. But it wasn't too long ago when we did our work kind of in isolation. We didn't have these seamless service paths ready, but now we have strengthened the relations with all the other network players, where we can actually then guide them to be in contact, for example, with the research institutions and so forth. So it's, I think, because there are a lot of people and a lot of players who already do that kind of work. So take the benefit of those, educate them about your possibilities, in addition to doing the footwork, of course, yourself. And related to what Davor said about the reputation building, I think it's important to have good, understandable services and actions in the language of the SMEs, and that's the online presence is good in supporting in that as well. And one of the things that I've been wondering is, we talk a lot about AI. But maybe one day we can utilize AI in helping the SMEs to reach the services or competencies that they need, to actually implement AI in our structures. But maybe that won't be tomorrow, but sometimes in the future. But it's good to vision things. And one third aspect I would like to mention is peer support, peer knowledge. Because no matter what someone from outside says, they don't necessarily listen. And although we might have an expert, but there might not be still the same language. But who they listen to is the peers who have already done it. And I think that's very, very important. So, well, of course, raising the success cases, talking about like the paths that some other company has already done. So it makes it a lot more easy to understand and also share the reputation, as Davor mentioned.
Yes, I think one of the key things what I have learned through experience is that our words, when we go from RDO as a researcher, as a scientist, even though we know very advanced technologies, it may be much better for the SMEs to hear about other SMEs. They would be much more excited to listen from a CEO of another company, from a managing director of another company, that, hey, we did this, actually this technology we did implement, and this becomes really, this really helped us. So that is a much more powerful message. So this can create like this kind of a snowball effect that you do. Actually, that's the purpose of all the European efforts, I would say, that to create this special grains of sand which can actually then create more and more mass as they go forward. Davor, I will ask you the second question, or the second topic. If we start the discussion on the second topic. So I think you have been part of this European project where you had the possibility. This was your first time, you told me, that you were working in a European project, and that opened up a possibility for you to get in connection with like at international level with different researchers, with RTOs, and with many different technologies, many different opinions, even technology supplying companies that you didn't know before. And I also know the experience that we started with something, and then as we went forward, it became more, we became more harmonized, because I think, yeah. So one of the key things what I think is we talk a lot about the technology transfer during this during these discussions. But one thing what we did, I think, is the knowledge transfer. And I differentiate between the technology transfer and the knowledge transfer in a way that we don't tell you that what you should be, but actually this is taking an SME at a level where they start to be aware of their issues. They start to be aware of knowing all the technologies and what they need, and they start asking. So I think that's the big difference. So how, from your experience, how do you think that how your access to the outside world, to the advanced technologies from your hub has been, your experience, and what could have been done better?
Well, I will try to answer this with two things: benchmarking and networking. Digital maturity assessment, there is also a guilty audit tool. That's a way for SME to see where it is. And I think it can be filled anywhere in Europe, anywhere in the world. So, but also hubs, digital innovation hubs must have their own expert, or they must know the address of the expert. And this is the networking part. L4MS and DIH Square are the perfect example of these projects. This is the, let's say, great European Union effort for networking. So this is all.
Yeah, I think of course, these kind of connections have been possible because of the European funding.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would say that the benchmarking is really one question what I have always wondered, as you said yourself also, that there are a lot of digitization audit and agility audit and AI readiness audit, and there are these available many places, and anybody can fill them. Would it benefit you as a company if the questions you are answering, the data you're providing is harmonized and synchronized with the rest of the Europe? So that would help you to see that, okay, where my company is in this digitization audit,
Yeah.
or at least in the plastic sector where I'm located, or in my country where I'm located.
I think it would be helpful. This is practically after benchmarking. You can use these results as a strategy to move forward.
Yeah. So if having the whole the majority of the data in one place, asking the same questions from everywhere might be a very good way to go forward.
Yeah.
Sabine, so how do you think DIHS can ensure that you make sure that these technologies, because there is this DIH Square is one project, but then there are so many projects going on. How are you going to make sure that you keep them aware even when you don't have the funding from a certain project to do this task? So how do you guys do it?
So I think that there's two things here. There's the access to the technology itself, also the access to the expertise and how to implement that. So in terms of technologies itself, it's really through pilot lines, demonstrators, webinars, and keeping all those up to date up there, and really demystifying what those technologies are and where they fit in which applications, especially for SMEs that have really specific constraints that really sometimes some technologies don't fit them, or would, in the opposite, would really suit them. So there is this whole demystifying all of the technologies, but there is also how to help them understand how to implement those technologies. And this is really done through, as Davor was saying, through the networking as well. So for example, the DIH Squared network, so it's a network of 26 DIH, or the experiments that EU funding has supported. So there's one based in Ireland where it's a manufacturing SME in Ireland supported by a technology provider based in the UK and Ireland. And they're getting supported in the implementation of that technologies through an expert in Croatia and through an expert also in France. So it's that network of DIHs and of the experts that could really help pick what is best suited for an SME in terms of technology identification and what opportunities they should pursue, but also how to implement the technologies.
Okay. I think one of the key is also related to the access to the results, somehow making sure made available, and sustainability of the research work, making it sure that it is all, you have the access to it no matter when it was done, so you can actually take it.
Yeah,
and
so open source solutions and really success stories, as we just mentioned before, success stories that could inspire other SMEs, and really have those outputs up there in harmonized platforms so that it's easy to access and to see.
Perfect. So Heini, I think in your scenario, because you are more like an orchestrator of the Digital Innovation Hub, so by yourself, you are probably, your organization is not participating at the European projects so much, but you are making sure that the actors in the regions are there, and then you are trying to utilize, or how do you utilize those actors to make sure that this continues to happen for the companies?
Yes, thank you, Ali, for the question. I think there are at least two layers. First is the European layer, to have, like, I think in this seminar there has been a lot of points already made about the collaboration not being ad hoc but structural, that there's information about where what kind of knowledge and infrastructure, for example, is, and also people, that there's knowledge between people and there's trust created. But I think regarding the local aspect, very often the people who are in the European networks aren't the ones who are then doing the customer work in the local level. So one local thing that the EDIH, I think, will bring more to is bridging actually that gap as well. So making sure that there aren't gaps in the seamless service given to the SMEs. So I think that's very important.
Okay. I'm gonna actually share someone. I think this is really nice, so I'm gonna show it on my screen. I think if Rebecca, I think you can show my screen, and there is someone. Let me actually look at that. Who has shared this? So Hayden Thompson have shared this link with us, and I think this is available in the chat, so all of you can go and look. And this is probably one of the tools which can be utilized by many companies. Maybe they can do it themselves, or maybe they can get help if it is too complicated. But I think there is this tool which can be even helpful. It looks like helpful for the road mapping for the future. Although I would say that for a company like an SME, thinking around 1 to 2 years ahead is normally quite a good amount of time in my experience. Okay. I think we can go to one other topic which has come again and again. I think this is, and I think I can actually direct this question more to Davor. There is also one question from the audience, and I think we can address this in this form, because our experience have been that actually collecting, getting applications and getting interest from the involvement in this kind of activities of the R&D and the digitization, taking the next step, has been more difficult in EU13, in certain regions of Europe, where actually most of the manufacturing, a lot of manufacturing in Europe is going on. And Davor, I would like to know your perspective, that why is it so? Because you have been exceptional, you have been active with us, and then now you are actually looking to go even further. So, but how do you think we can raise the spirit and go to the others, make the others behave in the same way?
Well, first of all, SME knows what they want. Media has filled us with self-driving cars, trips to Mars, and we want that all. These are our wishes. So, self-driving AGVs, practically all you have put on the graph, what is 2025, 2035, automated factories, 24/7 production, without humans, he wants robots, but these are only wishes. Maybe someday, but not today. And I would like really that hubs don't always listen what we want. To be real, play open and define limitations. Please break the fairy tale books and be honest.
I think what you're saying, this has been discussed many times, because this is the language and the barrier and also the goals, because of course, as a research and technology organization, researchers there are required to think ambitiously, and they think way ahead in time. And maybe I think here the best thing would be, for example, to have the right person for doing the right job. I would, and I be honest, actually, as a researcher, going to companies and talking about cyber physical system, cognitive factories, and AI is not probably the optimal way. And I think that is one very important thing as researchers, what we all have to learn and find the right person for doing the right job. So I agree with you. Actually, this was the question from Mario Pichler, and I thought that we address it now, because this was quite a nice question. I think we go to the next topic, and this time I'm gonna choose Heini as the first to answer us in this. How Heini, in your plans for the future, for the investment and for organizing many things in your digital innovation hub in your region, how do you make sure that you are getting all the feedback from the companies, making sure that it's becoming part of the agenda? And then also, I think the very important aspect of being now European Digital Innovation Hub, making sure that the commission is going somehow, you have a megaphone everywhere.
Thank you for the question. This is a very important one, I think. And well, I guess there are at least three approaches that we have thought about. First is structural. So to have industrial advisory board or some kind of mechanism to structurally have the companies have their say, or have them committed to the activities otherwise. So basically that's one, like the structural approach. Second, kind of what Sabine was mentioning about the evangelists. We have digitalization agents and a network of agents. So basically, one thing is also utilize the knowledge that these people who work with the companies get when doing the footwork, when talking with several companies. So systematically collecting that information, getting the silent signals coming from those discussions, and gather that systematically to feedback to the agendas and development. Third, I think it's related to the services, and because constant development and constant improvement is very, very important. I think utilizing the service design methodology, which is basically methodology to utilize the customer needs when designing the services, is very, very essential and crucial, because that way, from the beginning, you know that you're developing services that are actually needed by your customers. So in this, when you do the service design process, you automatically take the customer feedback and ideas into account. Regarding the European megaphone, I think that is something we still are going to learn about. I think EDIH will be a very good tool for that, because but that I don't have answers for.
Okay.
Expectations more.
Okay. Before, I think because we are getting short as usual on time, so I will ask the same question, or maybe we can get the information from Davor and Sabine. But there are some questions I think we should address. Maybe it's better. So I think, Karsten, you're asking the question about any thoughts on how to address the mindset of SME leaders. Often male, 45 to 55 years old, love their printer and emails, low digitized production. I think, I don't know, when I read this question, I think we are already categorizing them in a certain way, that they don't like digitization or anything. I think one thing one of my colleagues is actually doing research on this. Is the image or the marketing of the Digital Innovation Hub itself, because we are multi-faced organizations. At one end, we are actually have to deal with the commission side, and I don't mean commission itself, but what I mean that the European with other RTOs, we have to put together great ideas, we have to put together ambitious plans for the future, and we are doing that on one end. Then on the other end, we have to go to an SME who is trying to figure out that how a company, some other part of the world, is going to be ahead of them and making cheaper product for last 3 months, and I have to bring down my cost. So I think it is really, really important not to always, I think this is we discussed earlier, not to have the same person, same face, or the same language, at least in these discussions. So we need to really understand the customer and not think that they are the people who like printer, emails, and low digitized production. That is would be the very good start of the communication, to really think that their values and their needs are genuine. I think sender have a question. What are real target groups for digital innovation hubs? SMEs in need of new final solutions, or SMEs that are developing new solutions? Sabine, I will put this question to you. So the question is, what are real target groups? Do you think that the the digital innovation hubs should target the SMEs which are looking for the final solution, like we go and give them something ready, or the ones who may be interested in something in future? So what should be a real group?
I think it's the question is a bit, the answer is in the question. It's a bit of both, really. One of the role of the DIH is to show a vision also of where the SME should look at, show what's coming in the future, and do a bit of really sky blue research and really look at all the different new solutions that are available for them. But what is, I think, the groundwork of DIH, and maybe most of the cases, is really help them bring those the existing solutions to a more mature state and to develop step by step, a baby step, to be able then to realize the vision that they have. So bits of both, but I think a major work is really developing what they already have and then mature that to a higher technology readiness level.
Yes, I think actually it's not one or the other. I think it's taking the right thing to the right one. Yeah, I would rather say it in that way. It's the same a company. So this is something what we have also learned, that where to go and do what, because if we go to a factory where there are a couple of people with some hammers and nails and they are doing, so I think for them, with them, we don't normally talk about digital platforms and data and all that. So we try to give them a different kind of advice. And then if we go to a company which is already on a level where we think that they already have, so I think there is one question about innovation radar as a good source to share with SME regularly. I have to say that it is difficult for me to answer this because for both the EDIH and their SMEs, I don't know actually exactly what innovation radar you mean. So for me, it is difficult to answer that question. Would it be a good or bad tool? If you share the link, probably then I can open it and then maybe we can have a discussion about it. Yeah, so Davor, I think there is one very good question which I can direct to you. So what do you think about different kind of digital because I know that you have been doing several, you have been also doing it because of your customer, these kind of things, because your customer needed these kind of things. So what is, how you have learned from this different kind of digital maturity tests or analysis, where you are and what would be needed for you to go to the next level?
Well, currently we are a little bit above the average. So there are a lot of things that I would like to have, like connection, like a MES system, connection with machine to our enterprise resource planning, automated warehouse management. So a lot of things that are missing that are available on the market. This is very important. So I want to look for something that is impossible to build. I will be real and I will go for like MES system, etc. And this is I found from agility test.
Yeah. So when I think when talking to companies like you, I have always felt that, for example, Sabine should dress up like Santa Claus because you have always a wish list and you are looking for all these presents and gifts coming. And I think that's if it makes it anybody happy. So actually, digital innovation hubs can consider themselves like Santa Claus, actually.
I'm here because I want to have advantage in the market. Very easy.
Yeah. So you are one of those companies who are actually quite successfully competing internationally at international level.
We have very high rate of we have very high profitability. So we are the leader in productivity. So we must optimize our costs. And on the market, everything is price, quality, and delivery date. These are the three things that are important on the market.
Okay, I think there is maybe time for one more It says from Daniel, a question. I lost the question because some. Yeah, the question is: should or could a European Digital Innovation Hub support SME in cascading grants, or this activity is only for EEN? If I take this, I think this is something what we have learned very well. Going to an SME and asking them to write a genuine proposal, as you say, that looking for funding, is not very much wise. What we have learned, at least my experience, is that if you really are looking for the genuine SMEs, because there is an issue, what we have noticed, that every time we are opening this call for distributing European funds for the digitization of the companies, there are certain organizations, certain group of people who are very good at writing very good proposals. And many of them could be researchers, and no matter how much you explain to the evaluators that what is really the goal, of course evaluators are going to mark the best proposal as the highest, and that may be one of the problems of to blindly run the programs, like you just distribute the funding and money and not really thinking that who is taking it and what they're going to do with it. So what we think is to really, really go at the level. I think Sabine is an example, and also, as Heini said, that the footwork is the most important. So you have to go door to door. You really don't have to ask them to start writing a proposal, because we also know that in many of these programs, the one of the KPIs, which I don't know if it's the best or the most important KPI, is that how many SMEs applied. And the truth to be told, the amount of money we are offering, we do not need to ask from a company to write a proposal and submit it for a chance or for a success rate of 5% or 10%. And then we offer them 50,000, 100,000 euros. So I think in this respect, I would say that no, I think we should help them in writing the grants, but it should not be about writing the grants. It should really be so easy that they should not be writing much. Davor, you want to say something? I have a feeling.
No. You're right.
Yeah. Sabine, I think from you have this kind of experience. Yes. in DIH Square. You add that, and Rebecca, after that you can decide we continue or do we end. I think the time is over. Yes, Sabine, last.
Oh yeah, so what you just said is really resonates, because there's a lot of SMEs, for example, that I've been visiting, and they found that, for example, DIH Square was a perfect opportunity for them, but they don't have the time, they don't have the expertise, they never wrote a proposal before, they're lost, and they have to deal with the day-to-day production. So I think it's like crucial that either the proposals are easier to fill in, or that they get support. So one of my the main efforts in this was really to explain what was required, to really define with them the objective that they want to do, and really enter that discussion with them so that they have all the information they need. And really sometimes it just requires a bit of also encouragement and a bit of guidance, just to know that they have a safety net or someone that they can just pick up the phone and ask questions about. Sometimes is the only thing they need to actually go ahead and write proposals.
Thank you, Sabine. So, Rebecca, I don't know how is it if we end the session now, or we can address some more questions, or what do you think? Because time is over.
Yes, Ali, thank you. I think it's time for the session to end on all these last information. and the last sessions will start soon, so everybody can get ready and listen to them. Just for your information, more than 300 people listen to you, to all your interesting inputs and comments.
Well, we don't know if they were really listening.
I think they were listening. Yes.
We should ask them questions.
Well, yeah, but thank you very much for everyone. Thank you, Rebecca, and for the Sabine and Haney and for Davor for being here. I think this was very interesting for me also. I learned a few things. There were very good questions. I would have liked to address a few more of those, but I think we have to go to the next session. And I'm sure we're going to have this chance again to meet and discuss all these topics. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.